Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Tim Meyer, here for the Romeo Sports Recap, powered by the Mitt TV. Remember, this show is available on both YouTube and Spotify. And before we begin, a word from our sponsors. This podcast is powered by the Mitt TV of Romeo, Michigan. If you're looking to start a podcast for your business or personal use, look no further than the Mitt TV. They can get you access to equipment, a production engineer, and even edit your podcast. That's all right here at the Mitt TV of Romeo. And you can contact them right now via email at mitt.tvromeo@gmail.com. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Romeo Sports Recap. I'm Tim Meyer, and I'm here with Romeo boys varsity wrestling coach, Jim Calley. And Jim, congratulations on a pretty good season here, 24-12, and you got some guys going to states. You did 3-2 in the MAC Red. Did this year kind of surprise you a little bit?
Actually, we weren't really 100% sure what to expect because we had a really young team. But the way it turned out was, we were happily, ended up with a good note. Let's say like that.
I mean, your assessment of the record then was just pleased, but you kind of were, did you think you were going to end up with this record well, maybe midway through the season?
So record-wise, we actually really wrestle a pretty tough schedule. So like record-wise, we don't really look at it that much. It's like, where do we end up? And so with the young guys we had, and we never really seemed to have our full team lineup. And
because of injuries and
eligibilities, just things like that come up throughout the season and stuff like that. So I think towards the end of the year, we started kind of getting an idea of what our best lineup would be. And we put our best lineup that we could at the time out there at the team regionals. And, we did it. I thought we did a pretty good job there. So.
And you had like 6 or 9 guys that went to the regionals.
So,
well, 9 guys.
So 9 guys
went to regionals.
And again, young group. There's only 2 of those that were seniors. Couple freshmen lost in the blood round. We had a senior losing the blood round, and then 6 of them are going on to state.
Did they draw any blood in the blood round?
That's just like, blood round is like you win, you're in, you lose, you're out.
Yeah.
Round. So,
yeah.
But
it was a pretty young team this year.
Yeah, not just young grade wise, but experience wise too. We had probably more brand new wrestlers than we've ever had, and I can't even remember when. Just guys trying it out.
Yeah. And what guys kind of stood out for you this year that maybe you weren't really, that you were surprised that they stood out, or maybe not surprised?
Well, in turn, besides the 6 or 9 guys that you were talking about, I would say we have a couple new guys that never wrestled before, and they're really making big strides. And the reason why they're making big strides is because they literally show up every day, and they work hard, and they train hard, and they got great attitudes. But Jackson Stanzik was one of them. He came out. We tried to get him out in middle school football, 7th and 8th grade football. We coached that too, and he didn't do it. And he popped in at one of the meets early in the season and just decided he was going to do it. All of a sudden, he's practicing with these guys going to state.
And what weight class is he?
He's 144, but really he's probably 144, 150.
So that's a pretty powerful weight class. I mean,
for a freshman.
Yeah, well, the guys in that group usually are pretty. They're not only strong, but they're good athlete. I mean, they can move around faster.
Yeah.
Fast and strong, I guess, is probably a better way to put it at that weight class. And who else was the one that maybe?
So a couple other freshmen that, David Guerrero, he's funny too because he's another one that we had on the middle school football team, and I just because he was a bigger guy, and we were looking for bigger guys, and he came out in the summertime, and we're just kind of jogging around, warming up, and I'm just talking to him, and we're like, okay, 3 forward rolls, and he he would put his hands out like he couldn't do it. You know what I mean? And I said, you know what, you're gonna remember this day. And he finally got the forward rolls, and now he's like, he doesn't miss anything either.
He mastered it.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, we're excited. We're totally
So
excited.
he's going to States too.
No.
No,
He's one of the guys that
He will go to States, maybe, huh?
He said that the other day too. He's like, hey, you know what? You think I can place at state? And I said, why not? And he's like, well, I'll do that my senior year. I said, why wait to senior year?
Who else do we have going?
So just we have. I'll be honest with you. There's a long list, but Rashad Hardman, he's another kid who just literally just keeps showing up and just keeps getting better. We had Justin Rizzo who came out last year as a first year freshman, and he's knocking on the door. He almost made it to regionals. He lost in the blood run at districts, but another kid, just young kid we're excited about.
Like we said, we have 6 wrestlers going to state. We'll be talking to a couple of them here, Landon and Owen, later in the show. Who else is going to state?
So another freshman, Valentino Adamo. He's a 113-pounder. Sophomore, Bryce Holt. He's at 120, also the same weight as Owen. We have another sophomore at 132, Owen Perry. And then another sophomore at 175, Tommy Janes.
And the technique that maybe you teach some of these guys that might help them, what kind of technique are you really kind of coaching them on as they get to the States?
I mean, at this point, it's not so much about technique. It might be a little fine tuning here and there, but it's just more about getting their minds right. Making sure they're healthy and excited to be there and ready to go.
And overall this year, what team you think gave you the best match? Or teams, could be.
I mean, we went to Ohio, and like there's no cakewalks in Ohio. Even you win a match, you're getting bloodied up. So it's always a war over there. You go to
You think you were from the University of Michigan?
Yeah. Yeah, they don't take too kindly to the Michigan.
Yeah.
But it seemed like every tournament that we went to, there was good teams and good competition. But I mean, at the end of the day, we're trying to get to the state tournament as a team. We have to beat Dakota, and so I really thought that when all was said and done, leading up to it, we weren't sure where we thought we had a great matchup, and we ended up having a great matchup. But our kids responded well, and it was just like it was a super fun dual meet. We lost by a point, but
1 point.
it was one of those matches where everybody was into it, and it was a lot of fun.
Now you said you traveled to Ohio, but you also traveled around this state. Holt, I think it was one.
Yeah, Holt.
What was that like with taking the team up there in that part of the country?
Well, put it this way: you're not getting a lot of calls from the refs. They got their own area refs over there and stuff like that. The teams and the competition is great, but it's like I think having the kids in those kind of environments just kind of gets them ready for Ford Field and the state tournament and tough matches at regionals and stuff like that.
Do you also use it as a team bonding type of a event too?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. Because we spent the night. We go up there on Friday. We'll have a team dinner at night and stuff like that after weigh-in. So parents and kids, everybody's we actually got a room in the back at one of these restaurants and stuff like that. So yeah, it was cool. And I mean, it's not like a canoe trip or a camping trip, team bonding. It's a wrestling trip, but it's still fun,
Yeah.
and it does bring the team together.
Yeah. So, um, I got to ask you, you had lady wrestlers this year.
Yeah.
Never heard of that before. As long as I've been covering high school sports, this is the first I've ever heard of it. I don't know. Maybe I'm living under a rock or something. But
Actually, I think you might be.
have they had
It's
that for a
literally
while?
one of the fastest growing sports right now.
Well, then I got to get out from under that
Yeah.
rock.
Yeah, you got to.
What is the difference between the guys and the girls when they're
Well,
wrestling?
so the girls when they compete any other time besides the high school, it's always freestyle. So like our girls, they're used to freestyle wrestling. That's like this is kind of like their off season in a sense.
Hmm.
So they're just using it for like practice matches. Not all girls do this, but we have some like we have some pretty good girls that like they're kind of elite competition kind of girls. So when they're training for May, April, June, July, that's what they're training for, and that's all freestyle. So it's a little bit different, but they're good enough to pick things up. And shoot, we have 4 girls going. They qualified for Ford Field. Couple other girls were right in the mix.
Who you have names of these girls?
Yeah. So Ava Angelo, she came out this year. She was first year wrestler. But she did well, and she was close. Addison Roos, she was actually beating the girl who won it, and she ended up losing to her and then getting knocked out, but she was close too. And then the 4 girls that are going, Jolene Thompson, Belicia Manuel, then there's like the 3 Manuel sisters. So Kaylee Manuel, and then Amarisa.
And they're all pretty good. I mean, could I take them on? You wouldn't.
I think
you would advise you to get in the ring.
You might be able to beat him in a fair fight. I don't know.
I can see it now. I think I probably tear some of my muscles, and they'll probably kick me and beat me pretty bad. But it's all for charity, Jim.
We gotta make fundraising money, right?
Yeah, we need fundraising money, no matter what it does to my physical self.
You'll recover.
Yeah, that's what they all say. What do you expect from next year's team?
Well, first of all,
I know it's early, but
you know what? I really do think that we're gonna have a good off season, and that's kind of where the season starts. We talked like kind of off air and real quick before this and said, let's not be downers. We don't want to, because we had a lot of great things this year, but our off season workout was not that good. We came off a great season the previous year, and it was like kids were doing their own thing, but they were keeping busy, but they were doing their own thing. We didn't get them in the room a lot. And I think this year's group, they're already talking about getting in the room, and we're excited about that.
Well, you know what they say, in swimming you got to do the yards, and in other sports you got to, the more you practice, the better you're going to be. So
in wrestling, it's called mat time.
Mat time. You
Yeah,
gotta
it's called mat time. Yeah.
Not MATT, but mat. Get on the mat.
Right.
And wrestler. I had to ask you a question because I had a friend of mine. Well, he wasn't that close, a friend of a friend, but I met him at some social functions. But a wrestler, he wrestled for University of Michigan and then in the Olympics. Steve Frazier. Does that name ring a bell to you at all?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think it was.
He was a Hazel Park. Yeah, he was a Hazel Park guy.
Yeah.
He won a gold medal in Greco. And I've seen him in clinics.
Yeah.
He is a trip.
Yeah. He's the nicest guy. I didn't want to say too many things to make him mad, but he seemed like a pretty even keeled guy when he wasn't on the mat.
Yeah.
But
and that's how a lot of the great ones, they keep it to You know, they don't have to go around and show how tough they are. They on the mat, they're tough.
Yeah.
Off the mat, they're normal people.
Yeah, they almost like racehorses. You get them in the gate, and boom, they're off, and
Yeah.
nothing that matters, And then you have to put them out in the field, and they're happier than heck to just eat grass.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, that sounds very encouraging. You got a lot of juniors and sophomores and freshmen, you said, that are probably going to be pretty good next year.
And to be honest with you, we have some 8th graders coming up. So we're looking at the whole ball game.
Who's the best guy you ever seen wrestling? I had an all-stater last year, but who
that I've ever seen?
Well,
wrestle?
not ever seen, but maybe the top 5 that you could say, were special that really had the.
I'd say Metcalf from Davison. I mean, he has to be one of them. He went on to win a couple NCAA titles. Well, they had, at the time, Davison had a couple kids that on that team. Actually, 3 kids on that team were NCAA champions. But he might have been
what weight class would he?
Metcalf. I think he was his senior year. I think he was 145, and he just dominated everybody. There was one match I remember he was close, and to be honest with you, I knew the coach very well from Davison. I used to help him out at some clinics in summertime and stuff like that, and I went over there one time, and he pointed this kid out, and he was only in 8th grade, and he's like, the kid's got a baseball hat, he's just T-shirt, pair of jeans, working the score table, and he goes, Callie, watch for this kid, man. He's gonna be state champ next year. I go, next year? What grade's he in? He goes, 8th. Sure enough, 4-timer.
Wow, how you pick them that? Well, sometimes you can. You can.
Well, he picked it right.
How about at Romeo?
Man, we've had some good ones. We've had some really good ones.
Well, last year you had one.
Yeah, I mean, let's just say Braden he's got to be up there. I mean, he was in the state finals as a junior, and literally, 5 seconds away from maybe winning it, and then he won it his senior year. So, yeah, he definitely has got to be up there.
Yeah. Anybody else?
We've had like 5 state champs, and then we've had some guys that didn't make state champ. You know what I mean? They're like, shoot, Owen's brother, he's a 4-time state placer. He took second. Like I do believe if he didn't have a bummed shoulder, he would have been a state champ. He's a 4-time placer.
Is that why Owen's such a good wrestler? Because he had to wrestle his brother?
I think his mom might have beat him up a little bit and helped out the cause.
For the team.
Yeah, for the team.
How about back in the 2000 when you first started coaching?
We had some awesome wrestlers, man. I swear, I think in the late 90s, mid-late 90s, we had some of the best teams too. No disrespect to any other ones, but like, one of the guys that stands out is Scotty Norton. Scotty was a 4-time state qualifier. He was state champ as a sophomore, took second as a junior, and then he lost in the semifinals his senior year, and he ended up taking 3rd. But I mean, he's top 3, 3 years, and he won the state title one year.
Wow.
And he was a lighter 103 pounder in his freshman year, so he lost in the blood round there. But I mean, can't poke holes in his game.
No. Well, Coach, congratulations on a great season this season. Another winning Romeo wrestling season. And we wish you the best of luck next year. And thanks for coming on the show.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
We'll be back with more of the Romeo Sports Recap right after this.
Before we continue, here on the Romeo Sports Recap Show, a word from our sponsors. This podcast is powered by the Mitt TV of Romeo, Michigan. If you're looking to start a podcast for your business or personal use, look no further than the Mitt TV. They can get you access to equipment, a production engineer, and even edit your podcast. That's all right here at the Mitt TV of Romeo. And you can contact them right now via email at mitt.tvromeo@gmail.com.
Welcome back to the Romeo Sports Recap Show. I'm here with Owen Youngblood and Landon Fetty. And gentlemen, first off, congratulations on making it to the state finals.
Thank you. Thank you.
I know that you want to thank some people out there, so I'll let you go ahead. You want to thank Mom, Dad? Well, who do you want to thank?
Well, first of all, my coaches for obviously having to deal with me for 4 years now and putting me through the ringer. And secondly, yeah, my parents for excessive practices ever since youth wrestling, taking me around the country to wrestle. So definitely plays a factor going into high school.
How about you, Landon?
I'd like to thank my coaches as well for inspiring me to wrestle, because this year I started out late. I came from basketball, and my parents too. They really pushed me to do both and just keep working.
And your weight class, Owen?
Yeah, so I'm wrestling 120 in the postseason. I actually started off the season thinking I was going to go 132. And then I was right at that 126 weight class, and I wrestled that mainly throughout the year. I bumped between 132 and 126. And as postseason and districts came along, I was probably about 5-6 pounds off 120, and I was like, you know what, I think I can do this. So made the cut, and then
put the cookies away.
Yeah, put the cookies away, put the chocolate milk away, which has been pretty tough, but. And yeah, now we're here, so
So you're doing the 120?
Yeah, 120.
How about you, Landon?
This year I'm going 165.
165.
Yeah.
That's a pretty strong dudes at the
Yeah,
165
they're
mark.
pretty big.
Yeah, I mean, you guys had a good season this year.
Yeah.
24-12. Again, Romeo wrestlers going to the state finals again.
Mm-hmm.
Toughest match that you can remember, toughest kids. Well, you know, it's not a team thing, but who kind of gave you the most problems this year from around the local area, I guess?
Oof.
I'd probably say Dakota.
Yeah, I don't know if you have any specific kids or not. I got to think on that one for a minute.
Well, my hardest match was against a kid from Brighton. He beat me up pretty good, so.
Oh, sore after that one?
Yeah.
Felt like a pretzel or something.
For sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I had too many large deficit matches. I only lost 4 or 5 matches this year, but I would even say I wrestled my teammate Bryce Holt twice this year, and me and him only had a 2-3 point match each time. So I would say he definitely gave me a good match for sure. Great wrestler.
What is the secret to having a successful match when you go in? And you know, I mean, is it scouting the other person? Is it knowing their tendencies? What is it?
I'd say that definitely helps. I think a huge part of it is mindset too. It's going in thinking not that you're just going to go survive this match, that you're going to go win. You're going to go beat them up essentially. You're going to.
So you really psych yourself up.
Yeah.
Like almost you have to do it yourself. I mean, I don't know, Landon, does coach help you with that psych up or?
They do sometimes, but mostly I think it's just like you out there. Like you gotta want to be out there. You gotta want to win. You want to push yourself, and then.
Do you ever like the television wrestling? Do you ever like stare the guy down and just look at like the boxing guy?
I've done that a few
Sometimes,
times.
yeah.
Every now and then.
Well, hopefully not tougher than you. So you want to give him the wrong looks, but
Yeah.
and don't give that to your dad either. Don't.
Yeah. Wouldn't end well.
No. So it's your own self really that you have to psych up. So there is a psychological part as well as you got to try to remember your moves, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Has there been a match maybe that you lost that you thought, gosh, I should have used this move?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Especially watching back, because our matches get recorded, so we can go back and watch them and revise on it basically. And there's so many times I'm thinking like, dang, why didn't I hit that right there? Like, this perfect chance. I worked that all week and I just didn't.
Yeah. What do you? It's just. I mean, I know you can psych yourself up so much that you forget everything that you're supposed to be doing. that part is true. But what about you, Landon? I mean, is there a time when you thought, oh shoot, I should use this move?
Yeah, there's definitely times where I watch and I can see like I was in a good position to do this and I tried to do something else and it just didn't work, or like I'll kind of just like I won't feel it right away, and by the time I do try to hit it, it's like already gone, like your time's passed.
Yeah, it's the timing's off, and it's
Yeah.
not going to work, and you'll end up on
Yeah.
the bottom of the pile there.
Yeah.
When you won the match, and this is for both of you, when you won your match to get to the state finals, to qualify for state, what was going through your mind at that time? What were you thinking?
I mean, for me, I'm not trying to sound cocky, but it is my 4th time there, so I was kind of more casual with it. I was like, okay, just because the semifinals match for me was my qualifying match at
So you
regional.
kind of look a little hoity-toity. And
Yeah, I'm not trying to sound cocky, but yeah. So after that match, I wrestled that kid before, so I was like, all right, just let's go win regionals now. Like we already made it, like one match at a time. It's regional finals now and then states. So I was excited though.
Yeah, but tempered.
Yes.
How about you, Landon? What were you thinking?
I was pretty proud. I was really excited because it was my first time there. So I'm a freshman this year. So I was pretty excited about going, and then just starting this year. I started like really late. I only started like a month before that, coming from wrestling season. So I was like way behind from everybody, and I was just really excited and proud, and just kind of my mind was just going everywhere. But I stayed composed and just.
Did your mom make you a big chocolate cake after?
She was crying, but you know.
Yeah. And what'd your dad say there?
He was more so just he didn't really say anything about the qualifying match, but he was more so like, all right, finals match, and that's where I wrestled my teammate. So he's like, all right, just get ready for this match, and
You win
Yeah.
states, you get a new pair of shoes. you know,
Yeah.
something like that.
yeah. But he congratulated me after the regional victory, so that was nice.
Yeah. Well, you sort of ran the coaching and the defensive backfield at Romeo, so I
Yeah.
mean, he should be really happy. He
Yeah.
did his job for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys did well, but
Mhm,
there's some
for sure.
teammates that also did well, and some teammates that you guys wrestle with this year. Maybe you'd like to point some of those out to us.
Yeah, so obviously, besides all the qualifiers, because kudos to them, great job, they made it, and let's keep it going on Friday and Saturday. But for those who didn't make it, I would say Eric Miller. He was our 106-pounder this year, which the lowest weight class. So
My leg weighs 100.
yeah, yeah. But so he made the cut for us, which was huge because we didn't really have anybody anybody else really to hold that spot down. So he district placer, moved on to regionals, and he was in his regional blood round. So if he won, he moved down. He lost.
Yeah.
He was down by a kid, or down by a few to a kid. The kid was pretty good. There's probably about 25 seconds left. He cradles this kid up, so took him right to his back. And so everyone's freaking out. They're like, oh, come back. He's going to win this thing. And I like to call it a bad call away from Ford Field because he had that kid flat on his back, but the ref just was not looking.
He wasn't giving him the.
Yeah, he
It was
wasn't even
count.
looking at it.
It was for a good amount of time too. There was probably 10 seconds where he was flat, just on the edge of the mat.
Did you take Coach Kelly's glasses out there to him after?
He was furious. But even besides that, with Eric, he throughout the whole season he tweaked his shoulder a few times. Came back to practice the next day.
But you needed him. He was
needed
the
him.
106 spot. I
We
mean,
needed him.
You couldn't afford to lose.
He's a tough kid. He has some older brothers who went through Romeo, all tough kids, and Eric did very well this season. Got some big wins this year. Beat some kids he lost to earlier, and I'm really proud of him for what he accomplished his freshman year.
And who else, Landon?
I would say Anthony Zender. He was another big freshman this year. Kind of came in. I think he was on the JV squad
Yeah,
for a little bit.
start.
On the start, he was on the JV squad. He came out and he won districts.
Took second. Yeah.
Or took second in districts, And he was just, I mean, every day at practice, he was just going hard, doing his
What
work.
weight class was he?
132, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Cut down. Yeah, he cut down to 26 for postseason, but he was 32 throughout the year.
Yeah.
And then, so, second at districts, and he was doing really good at regionals, and I think he was one match away as well.
Same position, lost in that blood round match, but
And I think he was winning the match, too, in the beginning. He was winning.
he's a tough kid, but
Yeah.
again, really proud of him. He's a very tough kid.
How old is he?
He's a
Freshman.
freshman.
He's just a freshman.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's
Holy moly.
one match away from Ford Field, from being a
Wow.
JV wrestler to one match away from states.
And
So
the only way is up
the
Yeah.
only way is up for sure
Yeah.
for him.
for him. Who else can you maybe give some kudos to?
I would say Jake Turley was another good wrestler, but he was pretty good. He helped us a lot. He got hurt later in the season, so I think he would be at states too if he were to still be here wrestling.
I would say one more is John Janes. He's one of our few seniors on the team. His older brother Tommy is going on to states, and John was a regional qualifier. Again, he was wrestling a blood round at regionals. It's always that blood round match. It's stressful, but yeah, he had some kid from Chippewa Valley. It was back and forth match, and then it eventually went into overtime. So everyone's like, "Oh, like first takedown wins, they go to states," and he unfortunately just didn't get the lucky hand there. But
Yeah.
he wrestled tough all season, and he came a far way. Went to extra practices, stayed after everything.
Really helped the team out.
Yeah,
For
picked
sure.
up some big wins.
He also, towards the end of the season when I came in from basketball, he cut down a weight so we could have a solid 157 pounder. So,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well,
really thankful
that
for that.
and he filled that slot.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is it like to wrestle for Coach Callie?
I'd say there's never a dull moment.
For sure. For sure.
Since knowing Callie since middle school for me, and I would come up for high school practices, and I'm like, oh yeah, like he just seems like your average coach. But then I come into high school and never a dull moment. Like new phrases, learning about old cartoon shows, old stories from when he was a kid. Like
Gosh, he sounds like me. No wonder we get along so
Yeah.
well.
yeah, some interesting nights at hotels, just
Yeah.
fun times with him for sure. Yeah, he's a great coach though too. I think the biggest thing is he cares about his kids. He's willing to go above and beyond for them. He'll stay after with you. He'll drive you somewhere if you need. He'll do anything for his wrestlers.
Landon, you're
Yeah, I can agree with that too. And he stays after practice. He does everything. He's a really good coach, really funny guy, comedian.
Yeah.
yeah.
Got jokes.
Yeah, we have a couple of laughs once in a while as well.
Yeah.
So what do you do when you're not wrestling? I mean, are you chasing girls? Are you studying? What are you doing?
I'm chasing girls.
Yeah.
One girl.
Have they caught you yet?
Yeah. One of them did.
One of them did, huh? Put that one in the fish basket. How about you, Landon?
Mostly just training for other sports. Trying to play football and track and basketball, just trying to balance everything out.
What do you think you're gonna do in football? I mean, position-wise, what are you trying?
I would like to play running back and linebacker. I think running back is probably my main position. Linebacker is probably secondary.
Now, since he's been on the football team, can you give an assessment as to what do you think? You think that's possible for him?
I would definitely say so. Like I'd say this upcoming graduating class, we had some big guys like Victor Earl, Ryan Relier, all those guys. But I mean, they're out the door now, and he's shoes to fill right there. So
Yeah, well, there might be an opening for you, and hopefully,
I think there is an opening for sure.
we'll be calling your name. Hopefully, it'll be touchdown after we call your name. That would be great. But what do you think you might want to do, Owen, when you graduate from high school?
So I want to go to college. I'm not sure yet. I'm waiting to hear from University of Michigan, which I'm not expecting to get in, but it'd be a good surprise if I did. It's hard to get into.
What would you wrestle somewhere?
That's my debate right now. My mom's been on my butt about it. She's like, "We got to figure this out. We got to go visit here, and if you're going to do that." And I'm putting her in a tough position too, but I'm just in that debate if I'm going to wrestle or not.
Yeah.
So I'm still kind of 50-50 on that.
Depends who gives you. Maybe somebody will offer you something.
Exactly. I'm waiting to hear too, but
Well, Michigan Tech, I know, is looking for people.
yeah, if I
But that's way up there.
yeah, in the UP. If I don't end up wrestling though, I can say I've had a pretty good career, so it's always good to say.
What field of study do you think? What do you like?
I like the business field. I'm in all of our business pathway classes at Romeo, so we have a school store. I help run that. I like learning how a business is run, so that's ultimately my dream, but what business I want to run, I have no idea. But
Yeah, well, stay out of the heavily regulated ones.
yeah, be different, innovative.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry so much about stuff.
Yeah.
Have a shot at it. How about you, Landon?
I kind of like the medical side of things. Like, I'd probably want to. I'm still a freshman, so I don't really know where I'm going to go to college or what's going to happen with all that. But my dream is to go to Michigan, like Owen.
Yeah.
And then probably if I could, I'd probably want to play football, which is probably not going to happen, but probably become
Never say never.
yeah, for sure. Follow your
If
dreams.
you there's a player from Romeo who's on the Michigan team this year.
Yeah, Greg Tarr, the long snapper.
Yeah.
I mean, national champs.
Yeah, I mean, he gets a ring,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is great, So never say never, right? Well, fellas, appreciate you guys joining us. Congratulations
Thank
on
you.
making the
Thank
state
you.
thing, and hopefully the dreams will work out. Hopefully we'll be calling your name touchdown after your name next year, and best of luck to you, Owen. Hope
Thank
you
you
get
so much.
the college thing settled so your
Yeah.
mom can rest easy.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll be back right after this.
Before we continue, here on the Romeo Sports Recap Show, a word from our sponsors. This podcast is powered by the Mitt TV of Romeo, Michigan. If you're looking to start a podcast for your business or personal use, look no further than the Mitt TV. They can get you access to equipment, a production engineer, and even edit your podcast. That's all right here at the Mitt TV of Romeo. And you can contact them right now via email at mitt.tvromeo@gmail.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here on the Romeo Sports Recap. I hope you enjoyed our show. We will see you the next time as we have Madison Janabet. Hopefully will be back with us, and hopefully we'll talk more about Romeo High School sports. Good night, everyone.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to this episode of the Romeo Sports Recap Show, powered by the Mitt TV. Remember, this show is available on both YouTube and Spotify. You can subscribe to the Mitt TV YouTube page and click the notification bell to stay up to date on the latest episodes of the Romeo Sports Recap. Or you can find us on Spotify and follow our podcast, Romeo Sports Recap. From the Mitt TV, I'm Tim Meyer, signing off with a final word from our sponsors. This podcast is powered by the Mitt TV of Romeo, Michigan. If you're looking to start a podcast for your business or personal use, look no further than the Mitt TV. They can get you access to equipment, a production engineer, and even edit your podcast. That's all right here at the Mitt TV of Romeo. And you can contact them right now via email at mitt.tvromeo@gmail.com.